Welcome, everyone, to the Power of Possibilities podcast with Heather MacMillian and myself, Hank Setala. And today we're talking about access body processes because other than the access just is so huge about being
Woo!
body. And in the write up of this, I even put in like, how many of us have the awareness that the body and the being are two separate things?
Uh-huh.
And really like getting in touch and asking the body, what do you require? It's a question that has, for me, opened up worlds and worlds and worlds of possibility, as I'm sure it has for you too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, my first foundation class, listening to questions Gary Douglas was asking people in the class, like, what would your body like to eat? What would your body like to drink? What body work does your body require? Who would your body like to play with? I mean, these were all so mind blowing. Like, it was amazing.
And I know I've told this story on here before, but I started after my first foundation, also asking the question, well, body, what would you like to wear? And I forget, we were in a store that I never really paid any attention to called Eddie Bauer. My father-in-law loves this store. And I'm in there and my body's like, I want those jeans. I'm like, those jeans? And they were like $80 jeans. I'm like, body, what are you thinking? Like, I'm like, I like the Costco jeans that are like $10 each, right? But then like I got them because I was following the energy. And
Uh-huh.
my wife Anya said, "Thank God you're finally wearing fitted clothes. Like these jeans actually fit me. Like
She's like,
they
oh yeah.
right, right. So like, what if your body likes to flaunt itself, or like wants to
Yeah.
draw attention to itself because it wants to receive? That's a huge, huge thing when you start opening up to what the body requires.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that's such a fun example of that and how it can impact things like your relationship or your business to
Truly.
listen to your body.
Right. And then I just have to think about, you sometimes I'm just thinking about some other modalities where you don't touch the body and how important touch is. I remember
Oh,
Ryan Dean.
yeah.
Ryan Dean was my business partner for many years, and we accidentally got him trained in bars because we were hosting a class, and he really had no interest, ironically, but he learned bars, and then he gifted me a session, and literally I woke up. I don't even know how long, like drooling on myself, and I felt so good. There was such a
Mm.
huge space around everything, and it was like, wow, like body, what do you require? And I've been getting regular bar sessions and other energy work and hands-on sessions, even massage and things like that. Like truly, what would be a contribution to your body, and to include it in the choices that you make day to day instead of subjecting your body to the choices of the being by themselves.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Just even after you mentioning the energy of that first bar session, I just totally relaxed because it's like the space of relaxation available when you get your bars run. It's just like, wow.
Yeah. And for anybody interested on the Emergence of Being site under the Access Bar Clinic, because we have a clinic on the first Thursday of every month. And Access Bars, even though people kind of think of it as a separate thing, that is a body process that just happens to
Yes.
have all these points, right? But where I'm going with that is if you want to just see a little bit of science behind it, there is a neuroscientist who he studied topographical brain mapping of people in different healing modalities and meditations and things like that. And he did that for bars. And he was blown away by what he saw, because somebody that was 5 magnitude on the scale for anxiety in a 90-minute bar session went from that to normal. And he
Yeah.
was blown away by the results, and he dedicated a huge portion of his research resources to studying access even more. And I think there's even white papers now. I just saw the new Ning, very excited about that. That's like something for bars facilitators that gives you all kinds of tools. But there's like a lot more research and science coming out that they might be like, we don't know exactly how it works, but it's doing something.
But that it does work.
Yeah, it does work. We don't know how it works. Like you don't have to know how your light switch turns the light on when you flip it. You know it works, right? But there's so much going on, and that's kind of like the same thing with access. There's so much going on that you might not be aware of, but all you have to do is really be the space of receiving and what is possible in that space.
Yeah, and what was so cool about that study that Dr. Fannin did was that part of the study, the people, this technology that they had to measure the brain waves was on the head of the person running the bars, facilitating the session, so that they could measure the changes that that person received. And what that just acknowledged those of us who run bars, what we know is that when you give a session, you get a session. It's a gift and receive situation. So when I'm cranky, I love to find someone and be like, hey, can I run your bars?
Yeah. In fact, if you have a hard time with somebody,
Yeah.
running their bars is that gives both people so much space. Like when our partnership dissolved and everything, one of the things we did is we ran each other's bars, and so like you get so much more space, and it just melts away any points of view that there
Yeah.
might be, all kinds of stuff, and it creates so much more. And but the real more of the story, like the thing that I love everybody to take home today, is to recognize that the body is separate. The body is its own thing. And when I started asking those questions, everything in my life changed. And I would invite everybody right now, like, ask your body, like, body, what is it that would create something even greater for you? Or what would be a contribution? And you might be surprised at what you're drawn to in terms of food and clothing, what kind of sessions to get if you're into all these wacky energy processes.
Totally. And what's actually possible for you, being and body together? Like, what can you create together that's greater than what you could even imagine? And, what has your body been looking to tell you that you haven't been receiving?
I love that create together thing, because think about this, like what parents try to create something, create a future for their children, right?
Hmm.
Instead of creating with their children. And it's a
Yeah.
whole nother ball game. In fact, this is a tangent, but I just noticed it the other day. There's a whole landing page on Access for conscious parenting. And one of the videos is like, what would it take to like create with your children? Or it was one of the little things in that. And like, what would it take for you to create with your body instead of for your body or against your body?
Oh, yeah. Against.
Like how many people think your body betrayed you, but we haven't included our body in a conversation in how long? Who betrayed who, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know before I found these tools, I was, dealing with a lot of things with my body, and it was just giving me information that I wasn't willing to listen to, because I had concluded this is who I have to have a relationship with. This is, what I'm supposed to eat because it's quote unquote healthy. None of that was about listening to what my body actually desired and what it knew.
Now, coming up, because shameless plug, Heather's coming to Cleveland in like just a
Yay!
week.
I know, a week.
Yeah, it's like 1 week I'll be picking
Here.
her up from the airport. It's going to be so
I
much fun.
know.
So like the main star, I don't even want to say that, like the main reason I had originally asked Heather to come out was about Talk to the Entities, and while she was
Yeah.
coming out for Talk to the Entities, I'm like, well, what else could we do with Heather while Heather is here? So we're having a
Yeah, what
bars
else is
class
possible?
on
Yeah.
Friday, October 29th. But the one I really want to talk about, I'll throw up a little flyer for it. This is the Access
Ooh.
facelift. And now people aren't necessarily hearing as much about the facelift. It's a whole nother set of like hand positions, like how bars has 30 some hand positions for the points of on the head. Facelift is like a whole body rejuvenation. And
Mm.
would you speak a little bit about like really what does, I mean, what are the infinite possibilities of what you could receive? But what are the main things that people receive when they invest in something like an energetic facelift class and learn how to gift and receive the process?
Well, like a bars class, an Access bars class, it certifies you as a practitioner. So you take an Access bars class, you're certified as an Access bars practitioner. And if you would like to do sessions, you can offer them, or you can offer, um, you know, group trades and things like that. So that's kind of cool. So for the facelift class, it certifies you as an Access energetic facelift practitioner. And you can offer sessions if that's something that's fun for you, or it can be an energy that can contribute to everyone you touch, and that includes your own body. So for this class and the bars, and there's also a body process class that I'm offering while I'm in town on Saturday night. If you want to spend Saturday night with us, it's going to be really fun. Ask your body, what energies would be a contribution to you? What would you like? Would this contribute to you?
Definitely. And if you want to find out, because I don't want to give any spoilers for the body process class, but I went to try I went to look it up on the Access site because most of the things all have these wonderful descriptions and things. And this one, it just says, we're not telling you anything about it, so you can experience the energies in class.
Yep.
And really, like, the question is for that class on Saturday night, it goes from 7 to 10. Ask your body, would it be a contribution? And really trust your knowing. And if it's a yes, you'll know. And I would invite
Mhm.
everybody, like when I started asking my body questions, I knew what it started this dialogue. But if you want to find out more about it, it's like emergenceofbeing.com/possibility. It has all the classes listed there. And in terms of facelift, don't I would invite people, whether you learn bars or facelift or whatnot, it is not just the energy process. Like, it's like you can use it at home. Like my wife Anya, she
Mhm.
is going to be taking facelift. She hasn't officially signed up
Yay!
yet, but she's planning on taking facelift
I'm
because she
so
wants to be
excited.
able to trade the energy processes at home, because it literally
Yeah.
reverses. Potentially, we're not medical doctors, right? But there let me put on the Access site, there's a whole bunch of before and after pictures of people receiving
They're
like 10 or more,
beautiful.
and you can
Yeah.
see there's definitely a noticeable difference between when people didn't have any Access facelift classes. That's why I say it's really a body lift. It's not just for the face, it's the whole energetic body. And
Yeah.
after, there is like the crazy noticeable differences in how the body shows up. And why, if you're going to be part of this crazy world, why not have the greatest contribution to your body possible?
Well, exactly, and in that manual, in that class, we talk about, different things with regards to the face and showing up and facing things in your life. And you also get to swap that process. Um, you get 4 sessions, so you're going to gift 2 facelifts and you're going to receive 2 facelifts. And one fun thing that I like to do is have everyone take a selfie or have someone take a picture of them before we start that. And then at the end of the day, and the last time I did that for me too, and I couldn't believe I wasn't involved in the trades. I was facilitating. Um, my body and I being there facilitating this class, I looked so different by the end of the day. Like my photos were like clear, more presence. So it was just really cool, what can show up in that kind of a class.
Yeah. And for that matter too, even if you're not like a professional healer
Oh,
like
yeah.
myself and whatnot, we have a community built around Access. So the first Thursday of every month, we have a clinic where people come in from the outside and practitioners will just gift sessions for donation. And then on the third Thursday, which is coming up tomorrow, we have a practitioner only night. So if you either are a facelift practitioner,
Yay.
know a body process, doesn't matter which body process, if you know any Access body process, whether it's bars, facelift, or any of the other ones that you can
So
get
yeah.
certified with individually, like MTVSS and all kinds of wonderful ones. You can come and participate in those, and it's just a gifting and receiving, and any process is on the table. And it's like such a great contribution to the body, and also like a good community thing where we're getting together. We sometimes put in a movie. We sometimes have a,
Yay.
a CF like Heather drop in and like have a little bit of a Zoom chat. So it's really turned into this amazing community of people, not just for just Access related, but it's so much bigger than that because of what is created when so many people get together for the purpose of becoming more conscious for themselves, for their body, for the planet.
Well, and I love that you mentioned that, because there is an exponential effect in these classes. So in a bars class, when you have like all these tables of people running bars at the same time, what does that create? If you are in a body process class, like Saturday the 30th at 7 p.m.,
The
um,
secret class.
the secret class, you'll find out lots of juicy stuff when you come to class, but so many simultaneous gifting and receiving of that process going on at the same time in the same room. How dynamically can that contribute to your body and your future? And same with the facelift. I mean, it's just like, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
And my favorite thing too is whether it's a clinic night, a practitioner night, or an Access class, one thing that can change the energy of the entire evening is when somebody does this magical thing called ask a question.
Yeah, totally.
And every single class I've ever been with Heather, there's like one person, and it's usually somebody that they have a question. They're like, I don't know if I should ask this, and those are going to be the best ones. And then they ask the question, and it leads you on this rabbit hole of possibility where we don't even. By the time it's the trail is done, it's like we're all just staring at Heather like we don't know what to do. We're just. And I think Gary and Dave will say it's like dogs watching television.
Yes. Well, the class is recorded. So even if you fell asleep in your bliss of gifting or receiving a process or a session, that you can listen to it later so that your mind gets it, but you get really dynamic change even when you're like, wow, I couldn't hear a word she said.
Yeah. And now we're like towards the end of our time. I totally forgot to tell people you can ask questions.
Yes.
Speaking of questions,
Yeah,
if you
we've got
have
a
a
few more
question,
minutes left.
yeah,
What
if you have a
questions?
comment, yeah, feel free to ask. We did have Magic Mike giving us this cool little mountain scene. Thank you, Magic
Hello.
Mike, for tuning in. Uh, but while you think if you have a question, I would invite you to ask the question truly, like if you were to choose consciousness, what does your life feel like in 5 years? And by
Yes.
consciousness, that could be coming to any of these things, catching our live streams. Like truly, like if you start showing up and actually choosing to be more conscious and asking the questions, what would it take for me to have more awareness today than any day before, or to be in more communion with my body than any day before? Stuff like that. It just starts to create like such richness showing up in one's life. At least that's been my experience. Other than that dreaded question, why? Don't ask that question.
But I love what you said about communion with the body, because I mean, that's what all of this is designed to facilitate. It's greater and greater communion with the body, and then what's possible.
Truly, because like if you're not in communion, or if you're not even dialoguing with the body at all, it's kind of
Yeah.
it's literally like you're like a Siamese twin attached to this other aspect of you,
Yeah,
and you might be trying to go in different directions and it doesn't work. But like when you actually start saying, "Yo, like maybe we should work together," like
totally.
like what's possible if we like make the choice to actually work together for a common target.
Yeah,
And notice I say the word
exactly.
target because in Access, the word goal, like this is from Joy Business, when you reach a goal like a touchdown, all the energy stops and you change direction. But what if you had targets? And as things show up and change and there's new information and new awarenesses, instead of stopping the energy and moving a different direction, you just adjust your target and you keep on having that good orderly direction or whatnot.
I love that. Yeah. Someone last night even said to me, someone who doesn't do access, they were like, let's set some goals here. And I was like, no, I was like, a goal is a jail.
Ooh, why not talk about can because jail might be a great little tidbit to end on because maybe people are in these little jails that they're not able to really have the awareness of what their body is desiring. So maybe a clearing
Oh,
and like
yeah.
talking about what jails is and maybe a little clearing to free you from whatever is stopping you from connecting and communing with the body to really find out what it requires and desires.
I know. I mean, how many of you guys, like, this was my life for years and years before access, like, had a weight goal or a fitness goal or something like that, and get the energy of a goal and get the energy of a target. Like, which is lighter, which is more you, more true for you. Um, and that is, one piece of information that's been really helpful with access is that, the energy of a goal, the original definition of a goal is a jail. So how many goals have you set with regards to your body that are actually keeping you energetically limited and imprisoned?
Ooh.
Apparently quite
No
a few.
charge on that.
No charge on that. So let's change it. Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right,
Right.
wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
Yeah. And that was the access clearing statement. The
It
last link in
is.
this video takes you to the Access Consciousness site where Dr. Dain Heer has a whole description of what the clearing statement is, because that is
A
a gem in and of
video.
itself. And that could be
Yes,
a
that
whole
could be a
stream in and of
whole
itself
stream.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever jails you're using to receive the non-communion you're choosing, like what would it take to have something different and a different possibility? But really the question is the thing that starts it all is what would it take for me to be in more communion today than any day before and to start choosing based on the awareness of that communion.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Heather, thank you so much for doing these with me. That's always so much fun.
You're welcome. It's so much fun. And how much fun can we have next week? I can't believe it's next week.
Yeah,
Wow.
oh, it's going to be great. But starting Thursday night next week, that is the Talk to the Entities introduction class.
Introduction.
So that
Mhm.
is, do I have a thing for it? I don't have one for the
It's
introduction.
free form. It's open to anyone, whether you've done any access or not.
Yeah, and that is a
Okay.
prerequisite for this class, the beginnings, which is 2 days of all how to talk to entities and communicate, clear, cooperate, all kinds of fun stuff.
Yes.
And then we have the facelift class on the Monday afterwards. We have a bars class on the Friday beforehand, and I don't have one for bars, but here's a cool little picture of Heather with a cool. I love you see the
Yeah.
dandelions. The dandelion is Axis's logo, and one of the things I think I got it from Dr. Dain. He said that we are spreading the contagion of consciousness, and so like you're putting out all these little seeds, like the dandelion. When you blow it, it's all these little seeds of consciousness, and they take root and a lot of possibility grows out of them. All you need to do is really ask, well, what could I do today to nurture the seeds of consciousness that have been sown within me?
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I mean, I can wait. Obviously, I'll wait till next week. But thank you so much, and everybody, check out the website and come out for the community nights. Come out for Heather's classes. Ask the question, what else is possible? And until next time, stay aware.
Thanks, you guys. See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.